Since late 2019, COVID-19 has swept the world. To prevent the further spread of the disease, many countries have asked people to limit their travel, and many cities have suddenly hit the pause button, leaving cities and streets deserted. But during the period when human society was almost at a standstill, the natural world flourished. The air became fresher, the water cleaner, and many animals thrived at a rate never seen before. First, in the first few hours of the city's lockdown, traffic noise was reduced by 70%. This makes the other sound more distinct, the name of the bird. In the past, birds' courtship songs were drowned out by traffic noise. Noise pollution disturbs birds by affecting their song and frequency. Ever since the traffic on America's Golden Gate Bridge disappeared, the white-crowned sparrows that live here can sing as much as they like. The researchers found new tones in their mating calls. These white-crowned sparrows are having their best breeding season in years. In addition to noise reduction, air pollution has decreased significantly around the world. Los Angeles experienced its best air quality in 40 years. Harmful gases in the air have fallen by half in many Chinese cities. In India, one of the world's most polluted countries, a spectacle not seen in decades has taken place. Just 12 days after the Indian city of Jalandhar was locked down, residents saw the Himalayas as they had not seen them in 30 years. The Himalayas are only 200 kilometers away from Jalandhar, and the reason they are not visible is because of the heavy smog in the area. After 4 weeks of lockdown, international travel has plummeted. In April 2020, there were 110 million fewer international visitors than in the previous year. Tourist attractions around the globe have become almost empty, including beaches where the sun and waves can be enjoyed. Endangered sea turtles are the biggest beneficiaries of the beaches being cleared. Female turtles return to the beach where they were born to lay eggs every 2 to 3 years. One reason for the decline in the number of sea turtles around the world in recent years is that the turtles are too scared to come ashore because of the increasing number of people on beaches. Today, female turtles can safely climb the beach to lay their eggs. The researchers found that female turtles had an average nesting success rate of only 40% over the past decade. When the beach was closed to humans, the success rate soared to 61%. Hundreds of turtles are born from each successful nest, giving new hope to the endangered species. There are a bunch of big guys on Alaska's west coast that are also benefiting from fewer tourists. Where more than 10,000 humpback whales migrate to the Gulf of Alaska each year to hunt. Something bigger than them has always interfered with their travels: human cruise ships. Loud noise from cruise ships interferes with communication between humpback whales. In the wake of the coronavirus outbreak, cruise ships have largely stopped. Scientists using underwater microphones have recorded startling changes as humpback whales communicate more frequently. Humpback whales aside, the reduction in global ocean noise has led to better living conditions for many animals, including dolphins and killer whales. Sea animals are thriving, and land animals rarely enjoy city life. Many wild animals have begun to walk into cities. Hippo strolls at gas stations in South Africa, jackals roam parks in Israel, and pumas roam the streets in Chile. The cicadere, the star animal of Nara, Japan, is having a rough time. They've been in Nara for 1,300 years. But as a lot of grass became buildings, they had to change their way of living, and that was congregated near shrines. The 13 million tourists who visit Nara each year have gradually become the keepers of the deer. The normally timid cicadere found that they could get tasty food just by getting close to the humans. Like pet dogs, they have even learned to bow to win the hearts of visitors. With COVID-19, shrines in Nara have become deserted, and tourists who feed cicadere have disappeared overnight. But some of the older cicadere are unfazed, leading the herd calmly out of the shrine and through the city's intricate streets, seemingly knowing exactly where they are going. After walking 2 kilometers, the herd managed to find a small patch of grass where the older sika deer had grazed years ago. They found their way back here just by remembering. Zoologists found that the deer's nutritional status was significantly improved after they were reft grass and leaves, because the deer biscuits they had been fed for years were made of rice bran and flour, with no plant fiber, which would have been considered junk food for the deer. Also, as the number of tourists dropped, so did the plastic waste, reducing the risk of deer dying from ingestion. In South Africa's Mpumalanga province, a luxury hotel in the wilderness has welcomed a new group of guests, vervet monkeys. Vervet monkeys hog the swimming pool while the impala enjoys free plants at the hotel. Not far from them, an adult male leopard arrived at the hotel. Leopards usually hunt only at night. Its sudden visit struck terror into the hearts of the gatekeepers. Perhaps the gatekeeper is not for leopard's taste, it patrols after a time left. Humans have taken over 60% of leopards' range in Africa, making it increasingly difficult for them to hunt. Leopards have been forced to gradually start hunting during the day. The leopard found a meal in the hotel, which he used as a cafeteria and took to himself. In September 2020, to combat coronavirus, there were still travel bans in more than 40 countries around the world, limiting the movement of some 3 billion people. During this time, nature, in its own way, recovers itself. Oxygen levels in the polluted Ganges River in India have increased by 80%. The cleanliness of the Atlantic coast of Africa has changed from poor to excellent. In Cape Town, South Africa, a young parent was walking with their baby when they came across a spotted ringed penguin. These penguins have become regular visitors to the city, and some have even nested in the city. But every morning they return to the sea to fish. Ringed penguins are great fishermen, diving up to 80 meters to catch fish, but bringing fish to chicks is their biggest challenge. They used to return to the beach and find it full of people, and they had to wait until sunset. South Africa's penguin population has declined by 70% in 30 years. This year the beach is a paradise for them. It's empty and they can take the fish home anytime. The chick is thriving. For years, it was taken for granted that penguins and humans could coexist peacefully in cities. But as it turns out, penguins are better off without humans. The decline in human activity has benefited not only urban animals but also the remote Kenyan savannas. Cheetahs are the fastest animals on land. But nature is playing fair. Their slender size makes them weak, which means they are often bullied by lions and hounds. Lions and dogs steal cheetahs' food and kill their cubs. To feed the cubs safely, the cheetahs have figured it out a way. While hunting, her young hide in the grass far away. After successfully finding prey, cheetahs call their young with a soft call. Because most of the cheetah's prey is heavy, she can't drag it to her cubs, so she has to call them to her. But not too noisily, which would attract lions, hounds, and vultures, and even give away the location of the young, so that they could be killed. So it can only make soft calls. It was at this point that humans began to stir things up. Before the pandemic, large numbers of tourists drove to the grasslands in jeeps to catch a glimpse of lions and cheetahs hunting. But the noise of cars and humans completely drowns out the cheetah's gentle calling. This can lead to two outcomes. One is that the cheetah is spotted by another predator and steals its prey. The other is that the cheetah cubs can't hear the call and go hungry. But this year, the conundrum disappeared along with humanity. The cheetah's soft calls are quickly transmitted to their cubs in the distance, and they can get a good meal. Cheetah cubs have significantly improved survival rates. This epidemic is not only a short-term self-healing of nature but also a brief respite for mankind. Global annual carbon dioxide emissions have fallen by 6% since travel bans were imposed in several countries, the biggest drop on record. Since the outbreak, nature has flourished because of reduced human activity. But it certainly won't last forever. Humans will eventually overcome the epidemic, and nature will be back to its old problems. Mankind should take inspiration from the natural changes caused by this pandemic to find a better way to coexist with nature.